This video is going to be one of those things that I put out there and just really hope I'm not the only one that's thinking this. There's your guitar intro. What is happening, everybody? My name is Austin Randolph. Per usual, just to get it out of the way, if you learn something, if you agree with me, if you enjoy my soothing voice, make sure you subscribe to the channel after watching. It helps me out a lot on the back end. And there's not going to be any Sweetwater links down below because today we're kind of just talking about a topic. And that topic is, I don't understand what the Fender guitar company is doing, because in my eyes, it's the same mistake that Gibson guitars made 10 years ago, and everybody hated it. And I guess what I'm getting at is the idea that more is better, when I think we all kind of know that more, is not always better. As soon as I started editing this, one of the video files where I talk about what started this, the audio got corrupted somehow. So what started this whole thing, what prompted this whole video, were the Anderton's boys, my favorite guitar channel on YouTube. So I pulled up an Anderton's video the other night on my TV when I was, getting cozy for the night. And they were going through every model of Stratocaster that Fender makes, including Squier, and kind of doing a deep dive and which one is for you. And about a third of the way through, I started going, holy shit, there's so many. So I'm gonna take the time to read off. Granted, these are Squiers and Fenders. I'm lumping them together because it's the same model of guitar and it's the same parent company, so it is a Stratocaster, right? So we'll start with the Squiers. Let's say you want to get into playing a guitar that looks like this because you grew up watching Jimi Hendrix videos, right? Or John Frusciante or whatever. You want a Stratocaster. Your options are, you can buy the Squier Affinity series, the Squier Sonic series, the Squier Classic Vibe series. Or if you want to upgrade to Fender, but some people say it's not a real Fender because it's not made in any of the, legacy Fender factories, you can buy the Fender Standard Series Stratocaster, which is made in Indonesia, and it's different for reasons. You can upgrade to the Fender Player 2, which is made in a different factory, and it's different than the Player 1 from a couple years ago. Or there's the American Ultra 2, there's the American Professional 2, there's the Player 2 Modified, which is different than the Player 1 Modified and different than the regular Player 2. There's the Ventera 2, there's the Custom Shop, which is its whole other thing, and there's the American Ultra 2, which again, that's different than the first American Ultra. I have to be totally honest, that sounds a whole lot like about 10 years ago when you wanted to buy a Les Paul. Well, Epiphone makes 12 different kinds of Les Pauls, and then Gibson, if you want to get into Gibson, there's the Les Paul Junior, there's the Les Paul Special, there's the Les Paul Classic, which is different than the Les Paul Standard. That's also different than the Les Paul Traditional, which is also different than the Les Paul Modern. You see what I mean? And every couple of years they would change it, and it was it was really confusing and not productive. So I found myself just laughing as they were going through these names, and I guess even just adding 2 on the end of it to indicate that things are new. I think what's new with the 2 is you get stainless steel frets or something, but why the 2? Why making a sequel of every single model when it was just the same thing? You can just call it the same thing, and that's just the Stratocaster. That's just this model of this shape of guitar, right? There's a similar story for the Telecaster, and there's Jazzmasters, there's Jaguars, there's Mustangs, they make a lot, and that's just the solid body. They also do acoustic guitars, they do semi-hollow guitars, that's so much stuff. And yeah, there's certain prospective buyers that will be watching YouTube videos like this every night, like me, because I do this, and you can, you know the differences, but normal people don't necessarily do that. I mean, like, normal people, if I'm just gonna run through, man, like, you get, an 18-year-old, he saved up, he wants his first American Strat. Wants to walk into a store, find the American Standard Stratocaster. Well, that doesn't exist. It hasn't existed in a long time. Now there's the American Professional, there's the American blah blah blah, there's the American Ultra, there's the and a couple years ago it was the Performer, and then something, and it's this is just starting to me to feel, because I mean, like, I don't talk about my actual job, but like, my actual job is I like own and run a relatively decent sized business. This feels to me like there are too many cooks in the kitchen who need to be paid to come up with ideas. And so, I mean, that's just kind of human nature. You come up with stuff to do, and you make things more complicated, and that's how people work. And that's gonna happen in organizations that are as big as like the Fender Guitar Corporation. But at least to me, it's approaching like a comical level of complicated. And it just, all I'm seeing is what Gibson did a couple years ago. And then they, went bankrupt. And then, everybody loves them now because they just make, there's the Les Paul Standard. And if you want the one with the big neck, you get the 50s. If you want the slim neck, the 60s. They come in some different colors. But those are your two models. There you go. There's not 10 models. It's 2. And I'm just really hoping that I'm not the only one thinking this, because, by the way, if I sound nasally today, the cottonwoods are killing me, man. My allergies are out of control. I can't be the only one that's thinking this. So back me up in the comments, but I figured I would just put it out there. Like, from my seat over here, I'm kind of looking going, dude, what are you guys... This is preposterous. What are you guys doing? Even if you wanted like a traditional Strat and a ultra-modern Strat, I would get that. But dude, I just rattled off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. That seems crazy. So, is Fender going the same way that the Gibson Corporation did like 10 years ago and everybody hated it? Let me know. It sure seems to me like there's too many people employed that need stuff to do. And that's kind of what we're, ending up with here. So if you think I'm completely wrong, feel free to let me know. If you agree with me and you're kind of, every time they release a new run of Fender guitars, you're like, what? Okay, is the 3 next? And how's that going to be different? And so it feels ridiculous for me over here. If you agree, let me know. If you don't, let me know. Per usual, subscribe if you like what I do. If you're over on TikTok, I spend a lot of time on TikTok, way too much time. So follow me over there. And that's it, guys. I just figured I'd throw it out there. Like, it's so glaringly noticeable to me that I figured other people would know too. So that's it. Take care, everybody.